Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. My name is Jason Illari, and I serve as Executive Director of the Cumberland County Historical Society. Welcome. Some of you have had an opportunity to experience John N. Choate's larger-than-life photograph in the museum's Indian School gallery upstairs. For those of you who have not, here it is. Taken in March 1892, the image portrays what our own Barb Landis often refers to as Carlisle's Sea of Children, or perhaps more importantly, Carlisle's Sea of Nations. In a few moments, I would like to share with you 4 brief personal stories associated with this image. And I think these stories shed light on what we are trying to accomplish here at this conference. And these stories also, I feel, set the tone for moving forward. On the very rare occasion that I'm able to lead visitors on a tour of the Society's museum, I try to set aside ample time for folks to explore our Indian School gallery and soak in this impressive image. It has become my custom, if you will, to remain silent during those first few minutes our visitors enter the gallery space. In museums, art galleries, and other settings, silence can be a very powerful tool. It is a tremendous way of eliciting raw responses in uncomfortable situations. Responses that can be both verbal and nonverbal. These responses are tremendous doorways by which we can enter and explore complicated, gritty, emotional, and sometimes painful history. Take a few moments now. Close your eyes if you'd like. Embrace the silence and meditate upon this soul-stirring photograph. Thank you. Here are the 4 personal stories I'd like to share. Story number 1. A very dear friend of mine from Maryland came to visit me, my wife, son, shortly after we moved to Carlisle early in 2014. We spent some time touring the Society, and of course, we explored the museum upstairs. Like always, I waited in silence as my friend looked upon Choate's Sea of Nations. After just a few very brief moments, my dear friend anxiously blurted, "Jason, most of these children aren't really Indian, are they?" I once offered a tour for a group of businessmen in Cumberland County, a sort of familiarization tour, if you will. I distinctly remember one individual, CEO of a major corporation in Cumberland County, standing at the gallery entrance in his pin suit. His eyes were just on the verge of welling, and his gaze was so penetrating and pensive that you thought for a moment he was going to turn to me and say, "I've got to do something about this." He reverently lowered his head and joined his colleagues for the rest of the tour. A husband and wife stopped in this past summer, and I walked with them for a few minutes to help them feel acclimated to the Society and the area as they were not from the county. We engaged in some small talk on the elevator, and in the museum entrance foyer, but eventually we made our way to the Indian School Gallery. Out of the silence this time came a more common response. It's such a great thing that so many children were helped. We think about these encounters, we probably know denial, sadness, anger, and even limited understanding. How do we channel this into constructive dialogue and positive action? Which leads me to my fourth and final story. Three brothers visited Carlisle just recently. Middle-aged men, charismatic, warm, great sense of humor. They spent some time researching their ancestors, touring the society, and of course they experienced Choate's photograph. Later it was conveyed to me that one brother, hearing about this conference, pulled out his checkbook and offered a donation for Carlisle Journeys. The next brother, seeing this, remarked, "I can't let him show me up." You can imagine how the third brother reacted. Their response, their reaction, let us contribute to an effort that is promoting constructive, scholarly, elevated dialogue about our collective history in a safe, candid, truth-seeking environment. This is what Carlisle Journeys is all about. One of my favorite quotations says, "Raise your words, not voice." Raise your words, not voice. Raise your words, not voice. It is the rain that grows flowers, not thunder. I think this speaks to what we're striving to accomplish here also. To close, I would like to thank you for taking this journey with the Historical Society. Thank you to the University of East Anglia, our 2014 partner, our contributors, conference planning committee, staff, volunteers, and board members who helped with this effort. We are opening a new chapter, and it's worth every effort. Finally, one extraordinary lady who has lived and worked by the mantra, "Getting the names to the nations," is now passionately working to invite the nations to Carlisle for reflection, healing, learning, and engagement with places and significant Indian school collections and primary sources. Thank you, Barb, for sharing with us your dream. At this time, it's my honor to welcome Mr. Trudell Brew to the podium to make the offering prayer for this gathering.